providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Hey, good morning and welcome. Welcome to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you all so much for being here. If this is your first time joining us, we're caregiving people. We're Caregiver Crossing, and it's a show brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates, and we're here every week with you to talk about all things caregiving. I'm Terry Stacy. To my right is
Tina McIntosh.
To her right is
Noah Taylor.
Thank you all so much for coming. I'm talking
I'm
to
supposed
you
to clap. Oh, no, thanks for having us here in the Joy's House studio.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, it is a busy month for one and all. And it is also World AIDS Day is December 1st. It has been. How do I word that?
Previously on Caregiver Crossing.
Previously, yes. World AIDS Day. And have you ever known anyone that was diagnosed with AIDS?
HIV.
Or HIV?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Noah, you?
You know, I can't say I have, but maybe that's because that people are really not so open about it.
Well, and it's different than it used to be. I mean,
Right.
I think that's a generational thing. For Terry and my generation, AIDS was, getting AIDS was like, for me at least, the scariest thing to think about. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And I think now there's so much has changed. No one wants a diagnosis of anything, but it's not a death sentence like it was.
There are treatments for it.
It was socially not acceptable. People were scared of you. I mean, I remember when Ryan White was diagnosed. Yeah. I can't remember the year. Do you have that year?
I don't know the year. That would be the first for me to know of someone that was right here in our state of Indiana.
He was
was
from
treated
Kokomo.
so horribly.
Absolutely vile.
Through no fault of his own. He was through a blood transfusion. But the way that we were hearing it and learning about AIDS was it was within the gay community, right?
Right.
And this little boy is now diagnosed, and no matter how often or more clear they could have been about how he got AIDS, he was still treated as though he needed to be isolated and away from everyone and get out of our community, get out of our sight.
Yeah.
Because you're scaring us. It's a threat to us.
No, it was like, don't drink after someone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hold someone's hand. Don't breathe the same air. I mean, it was very, very scary. And it was like the fear, filled the gaps where there should have been information. But it was that fear driven. And it was the mid 80s. Yeah. So, for me, it was right before I went into high school, like shortly before high school. But why he still matters today, I have to tell you, so there's a connection to Joy's House here.
Really?
So, Ryan he was a teenager. He was from Kokomo. You're right. It was a medical treatment for hemophilia. And when he tried to go back to school, people didn't want him there because they were afraid they were going to get it from the water fountains and, I don't know, making eye contact. But Ryan and his family said, no, we're not doing this to our son. We're not, stepping back and out of the way. And they helped with advocacy and get our country toward better education and better policy and just, I think, a more compassionate understanding of HIV and AIDS. But our connection, anyone?
I don't know. I don't know.
So Ryan's infectious disease doctor was Dr. Marty, who was a guest here at Joy's House.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Doc was one of my, I'm not supposed to have favorites, but come on, Doc was...
Seems like a really special person.
How long ago was he here?
Oh, it wasn't that long ago. And he was just a fantastic human. And, looking at everything he had done throughout his life, putting the spotlight, though, on this with Ryan White, he cared for that young man and his family during a really critical time. And so there's actually... At the Children's Museum, if you go there, there's a bedroom. I think it's his bedroom with all of his stuff in it.
Fantastic.
That was when I first learned about Ryan White. I believe it's still there.
It is.
They have the exhibit of Ryan White, Anne Frank, and then Ruby Bridges
That's
as
right.
well,
Yes,
I
that's right.
believe is the third person.
Well, and Doc is the doctor in the picture with him there at the Children's Museum. It's just wonderful.
What a wonderful
and so,
man.
I
Full
think
of compassion.
What I think we should share now, though, is what HIV and AIDS means today. I don't know. Either of you?
Well, I know that today there is consistent care for HIV. I know that there's not a cure, but it can be treated with different medical procedures. And many people living with HIV can live long lives now. But it is important that HIV cannot be transmitted through casual contact, touching, hugging, sharing space, sharing a water bottle, sharing the water fountain. It cannot be transmitted like that.
It's amazing, like all the things that happen in the world that turn us against human contact, and it's really one of the things we want most. You know, whether you're thinking COVID or influenza or whatever it is, like we get so scared. I don't know. I still think we have like traumatic response to things like this. You were going to say something,
or
Terry.
knee-jerk reactions sometimes when we don't get all of the facts yet, and we just immediately we can turn on each other in a minute.
Well, and I don't know who to trust.
Right. Well, that's a great point.
I don't trust everybody naturally. And so when and I'm so sorry to say this because, here we are with the radio show. By the way, this is Caregiver Crossing. And, Terry, you've been in radio and been a community personality for decades. I trust you. But if I know you.
And I trust you because I know you.
Right?
Yep, there is a trust.
And so, but a lot of people
I don't trust.
Like
Noah.
Well, you called him Luann before we got on air, so
that is my middle name.
He trusts you,
and
either.
I'm untrustworthy.
So I am actually gonna switch gears here. You are listening, by the way, to Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina in studio with Terry and Luann over here to my right. Noah is his name, and Noah, you've got some exciting things coming up soon.
I really do. So I joined the Indianapolis Men's Chorus earlier this year.
So good.
And we are getting prepared right now for our annual winter show. And it will be on December 19th, 20th, and 21st. There are 4 different shows throughout the weekend there. They are at Warren Central at the Performing Center there.
Beautiful place. It really is. It's been there a long time.
How do I get tickets?
It's going to be an incredible show. I believe it's imc.com or just Google Indianapolis Men's Chorus and they'll take you right there.
Can I bring a fat head of you?
Please do. Yeah.
Can I bring a cowbell?
I think that might be frowned upon, but you probably can bring it.
May I hoop and holler and say Noah?
We do encouraging hoot and hollering. We do encourage that.
Will you be wearing your special Christmas outfits?
I'm wearing 4 different Christmas special Christmas
Noah is also a
holiday outfits. And please, if you love choir, please come see us. We just had a few members performing at the
Circle of Lights celebration, the
Yes.
turning on of the lights. Outstanding. I looked really hard as Noah here. So yeah, but we can see you all this month.
I'm going to go right now and get my tickets.
Please do.
All right.
You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, have a question that you'd like for us to answer on air, or just want to call us and say, hey, maybe talk a little bit about caregiving, you can reach us at joycehouse.org or email Tina at joycehouse.org. And you're listening to Caregiver Crossing, which is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us and learn more about caregiver support resources in the community. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. I'm Terry Stacy, along with Tina McIntosh and what we call Noah is here today.
So weird. That's actually his God-given name.
It is. Not Luann.
This is so cool because, Noah, thank you for lining up our next guest. Joining us now is
absolutely.
Victoria Madsen. She is a supervisory special agent with the FBI's Indianapolis office, where she works on complex financial and white-collar crime. Her experience includes major fraud cases, and she frequently speaks publicly about the scams affecting older adults. We are so glad to have you here. Thank you for spending time with us.
Well, thank you for the warm welcome, and thank you for having me.
You betcha. Based on what you see in your work, let's get right to it. What types of scams are targeting people the most right now?
Absolutely. Well, I know we're coming into the holiday season, so
Yes.
there's always the websites that take your credit card information and don't deliver the goods, or you don't get what you thought you were getting. But I think the most important are the scams that take every dollar that our victims have. Those can include tech support scams where you think there's something wrong with your computer and they're
Yes.
helping you fix it.
Victim.
Romance scam. Those
Not a victim
are,
of that one.
Those are tragic, and they really take the time to get to know how many dollars someone has, and they don't stop until they've taken every single one. And then along the line of a romance scam, it's a little different of a scam, but it is government impersonation. So instead of thinking you're in love with someone, you think you're talking to the IRS, and you have this mystery tax bill that you're trying to make right.
Yeah.
And they really use that ruse to steal your money.
It's terrifying to me. I mean, they're everywhere. And I feel like we talk about this on Caregiver Crossing. I feel like I'm a pretty intelligent person. I'm intuitive about things. I've almost fallen for them before. I mean, I got the one a long time ago that was, your electricity is going to be shut off if you don't pay your bill. And I was out of town and I freaked out and called my husband, and he was like, no, we're paid. That's not even true. And so when he called the guy back, the guy was so mean and said nasty things and hung up on him. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, you're a schemer and you're rude.
You're an awful human.
You're an awful human.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you help people? I mean, I recognize you do, excuse me, a lot of the behind the scenes work, things we don't see. So the big picture stuff, but what do you coach people on? Like, how do you know what's a scam and what's not?
Absolutely. Well, all the scams have a lot of tenets in common. There is the deception. So I'm your cable company, or you have an unpaid toll. And but there's that urgency. And the urgency is going to be to give your information or pay money or both.
Right now. If
Right
you don't do
now.
it now.
You need to do it on the phone with me. Otherwise, it's going to double, or this is your only chance to avoid arrest. So there's the urgency. So I tell people there's very few things that must be done right now, and without thought, or talking to your spouse or your loved one or someone you trust. So if you have that urgent need for money that someone is telling you, take a pause. Like, there's no reason you must give them your credit card information or go withdraw $10,000 in cash and put it in a box for
Or go get gift cards for $500
Absolutely.
at CVS or Walgreens. So I think that's important to hear again. If we feel urgency, pay your
Yes.
toll right now. Give me your credit card information or your social security, whatever it is. If it's urgent, like it has to happen on this call, then we need to take a beat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pause, talk to someone. And if they say you can't talk to anyone, that's a huge red flag, because everybody gets a chance, even if it's the law enforcement impersonation scam and they say you're going to be arrested. What do you get the minute you get a lawyer?
Yeah.
You don't, it's not a secret thing. It happens. We don't call people before we go and arrest them. That's just not how real law enforcement works. So if there's, threat, you mentioned the badgering. If the person from the cable company is, really, really verbally abusing you and threatening, and I know where you live, like, that's a huge red flag that they're not legitimate.
All ages. Everybody can fall a victim to the scammers, the bad guys. But the elderly they're still so trusting. I'm still I don't know if I'm the elderly, but I'm still very trusting, but I've just gotten smarter because I have been taken advantage of too many times. But the elderly, it's a whole different ball game, because they'll even put, I understand, somebody's voice that says, it's grandma, it's me, and I'm in trouble, I'm in jail, kind of thing. But tell us about those senior citizens. Are they getting the more information how to arm themselves and prepare?
I hope so. Like, that is a huge part of my job, both leading, the agents and the folks on my team, but also getting the word out there, because so many times when somebody has fallen victim, there's shame. They don't want to tell anyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes that makes it worse, but also it keeps their friend from also hearing that, hey, this happened to me. Don't let this happen to you. So I encourage people, spread the word. If you almost fall for it, or if sadly you do fall for it, tell your friends, tell the people that you interact with, because chances are they're being targeted. Because you mentioned, people in that 60 plus age group.
Yeah.
they're the ones with the most resources because they have worked and they have amassed, well-earned retirement savings. And so if you think of the amount of efforts by nefarious actors who it's their job to defraud people, this isn't something they do as a hobby.
Yeah.
They go to an office every day, they sit in a call center, and they just dial numbers. And as soon as somebody picks up, they start the scam they think that's going to be most effective.
I think it's scary how it's hard to find these people too, right? Isn't it still very difficult to find the people that have done the bad deed?
Absolutely. And prevention is the name of the game. Yes, the FBI investigates and we have offices in other countries, but the chances of recovering your money are extremely slim. And so I say, before you make that transaction, before you give them access to your bank account or put your money in a cryptocurrency ATM, stop. Gather your senses, and chances are you're not going to do it because you're going to be realized that you're a victim.
All of those words scare me. When I hear you put them together. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing. You're hearing the voice of Supervisory Special Agent from the FBI Indianapolis office, Victoria Mattson. And I would want people to hear that again. Should people be embarrassed if they fall for a scam?
Absolutely not.
And why should they not be embarrassed?
Because the scams are so sophisticated, and these are professionals in their trade. And sadly, their trade is criminal activity.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in my 17 years. The scams, it used to be a letter in the mail that had lots of typos and was pretty easy to tell, it was the Nigerian prince, that you won an inheritance.
I forgot about the Nigerian prince.
But now,
is he still out there?
Sadly, yes. But they have gotten so sophisticated, and just from what I've seen, and I don't, ever look down on a victim when they come to me for making those decisions, when that urgency and that fear is placed upon them, that very, very smart people, very sophisticated people in high positions have fallen victim to it. So if anybody out there has fallen victim, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think that's important for people to hear. I think that is the number one reason that I've heard that people don't come forward is they're embarrassed as the victim. And so do they call 911? Like, is there someplace online they go? How do they report that?
Absolutely. So if someone has been victimized, unless the threat actor is, they feel like they're in imminent danger, you don't necessarily have to call 911, but you can make a police report with your local police department. I also encourage victims to go to ic3.gov. It stands for Internet Crime Complaint Center. The FBI is part of it, and you can go on and click File a Complaint and basically give the FBI and law enforcement partners all the details of what happened to you. It asks for, the date and all the different things, and then it comes to the FBI so we can track trends. So, if there's a scam involving a certain vendor, or we can take steps behind the scenes.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm sorry, we have to take a break here in a second, but so even the ones I get that I don't fall victim to, but I recognize it as a scam, should I go to IC3, or do I need to be victimized to do that?
I would say you can go to ic3.gov, but
.gov, thank you.
Yes, it's ic3.gov. But if you don't fall victim to it, the better option is to tell your friends and family.
Okay,
let people know in your social circle so they don't fall victim to it. We are more interested in the ones where someone loses some money. Maybe they're on the path to losing more.
All right, that is Supervisory Specialist Agent with the FBI Indianapolis office, Victoria Mattson. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, she's going to help us understand what to do for prevention, which is most important.
Very important. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina McIntosh in studio with Tara Stacy.
Yeah.
Noah Taylor.
Hey there.
And, who doesn't have Special Agent of the FBI, Victoria Mattson, in studio with them?
Hello.
We do. All right, so we were talking right before the break about why people don't report some of these crimes, and we talked about embarrassment, but there's another big one that's important for our listeners. And what is that?
Yeah, especially elder-aged individuals, when they do realize that they've been defrauded, they are afraid that if they tell their adult children, which are often, their closest family members, that their children will want to take away their access to their bank account, put them in, some sort of facility that they're not ready for. And so they just keep that secret in there, and it just truly gets worse because they need support to fix, what has happened with their financial victimization.
It's so sad.
It is so sad. And something else that's sad is that there are these impersonating type of scams. And you said jury duty is a big one right now.
Huge. Yes. And
which affects all ages, right? I mean, well, anybody that's age enough to be on jury duty.
Yes. And some victims will even get an arrest warrant, it's doctored and it's not real, but if they look up the name of the judge, it'll be a real judge. All the other information will be on there.
Comes in the mail?
Text.
It's a text.
Text, email.
Oh, man.
And they make it look like a quasi-legitimate sender for it. But yeah, it'll say, you missed jury duty, you owe money, or pay your fine and you won't be arrested. And people sadly pay the money because they just don't want to deal with it. And who doesn't, see certain notices that come through. But that's not how you make it right if you miss jury duty.
When you delete that text, I get a lot of these things, and I delete and report as junk. Does that really do anything?
It's just going to come from another number, but definitely do that because
somebody really is paying attention when it comes wherever that's going. That I'm said this is junk.
Yes, but the way the scammers just use so many different avenues to get to us, it's going to come from a new avenue, but it's not a bad idea.
Oh my gosh, they're so smart.
I just tell myself all the time, what if they put their energy toward helping other people?
Yes.
Because these are smart folks we're talking about.
They must be. I think they are.
So, Special Agent Metzen, is there any way for us to prevent any of this? Because it feels heavy, right? It feels heavy and foolish. I mean, but what can we do?
I think education, and depending what stage of life you're in, because I know we have a mix of caregivers and potentially some people are in that elder age category. So really just think of locking your front door when you leave or locking your car door. How are you protecting your finances? Are you, making sure you reset your passwords? Have you considered putting a freeze on your credit so people can't take out loans in your names if, there has been a breach that you've been involved in? Are you taking those steps to verify before you send out that payment for the overdue cable bill? And just employing those tactics to make sure that you don't become a victim. Because once they victimize you once, sadly, you go on a list and you get a different scam because they think you're vulnerable and they think you still have money that they can
put
steal.
You on a list?
Yes, it is extremely
They
sinister.
network?
They trade, like advertising leads, they trade. So I tell scam victims, okay, we've discovered this, you've changed your bank accounts, you've done all the right things, but you are going to be approached again by a new romantic partner or a new scam type just because your information is out there.
So sometimes I ask them if I can call them back. Is that, if they call me and I'll say, if I'm not sure, I'll say, I'd like to call you back. Where's the number where I can call you back?
Yes, let me give a little twist on it. I recommend everybody keeps wherever they're getting their phones, if it's, a landline or whatever, a notebook, especially the grandparent scam. So if you get that information and you think it's maybe a scam, it's a really bad connection, exactly as you just said, get down all the information for it, but then don't do anything over the phone. Verify all the information. So if it's, in your instance, an overdue electric bill, get all the information, but don't take action while you're on the phone with them. Verify it through independent means. If they say they're your bank, call your bank from the number on the back of your debit card or some trusted method. Don't call the number that they give you.
Is there any way to really prevent your phone number and your email address from getting out there?
Sadly, it's just out there.
It's just there, and there's nothing you can do to protect you. Are most of the scammer people, are they from outside of our country, or are they here too?
A lot of them originate from outside the United States, but they have boots on the ground here. So it's a mix, but a lot of the brain power in a call center type atmosphere is largely located overseas.
I giggled only because Terry is firing questions at you.
Oh,
I mean,
well, I've been a victim too many times because I was too trusting.
And how does it make you feel?
It made me feel angry.
Yeah.
I wasn't so much embarrassed, mad at myself for letting it happen sometimes, But especially this time of year is when I get into trouble. Have gotten into trouble. I've gotten better, knock on wood, and that's all I'll say. I'm just smarter, I think, because of people like you.
But I do want to call attention to this. You just said you get mad at yourself. And I think it's important for people to hear that. I get that that's a normal reaction. But if it happened to me, what would you say to me? Tina, it's not your fault. You're a victim.
Well, yeah, I would. I really would.
Right?
But we need to be so armed, again, with information, how to protect ourselves. And sometimes those ways are time consuming. And you're like, I don't have time to do this right now. So, I'll be all right. I'm fine. But they've just gotten so smart and wily how they do these things. And so we just have to really pay attention and be careful.
Yeah. What else comes to mind?
Well, you mentioned when people's guards are down or they're busy, think grief. We have everybody, when they lose a loved one, there's an obituary that says the people who they leave behind, those family members, especially the spouse that's still living, they get targeted by so many scams.
It's sickening.
Because they're grieving. Yeah. They potentially haven't handled finances. They don't know how all the bills get paid or how the IRS gets their stake in it. So especially if you know someone or you are going through a major life-changing event, just make sure they know they're going to be targeted and to take extra precautions, lean on those around them. I also encourage, if you have been victimized, tell your bank. Your bank can put certain precautions on your account to make sure that transactions don't continue to go through. So in addition to reporting it to law enforcement, also loop in your bank because they can help you with that.
Yeah. And again, the place to report it, if you have been, you say defrauded. I like that better than victimized. I don't know. Feels different. That is ic3.gov, ic3.gov to report it there. You'll also want to file a police report. And
once you get into trouble, it would have been so much easier for me at times to say, let me do this now to protect myself, because the time it took afterwards of getting in trouble is precious time lost. And it's days and it's everything. And it's things you don't think about now have to be changed. It's just so much better to take the time to protect yourself.
I don't know why you're yelling at me. I will change every password.
I'm still thinking about how angry I was.
All right, I'll do it. Special Agent Mattson.
You mentioned that. That's so important. A password is part of it all.
Yeah, I don't know how to thank you. Like, this will help someone.
It's priceless.
It'll help us. And so thank you so much for what you do and for being here and just sharing everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of great resources on FBI.gov that you can also check out if you want to read more, learn more. It really is something you have to maintain advocacy for yourself to keep your money where it belongs. If you want to give it to a charity, give it to a charity, but don't let it get in the hands of scammers.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with the amazing Cardon & Associates, who actually got us connected with Special Agent Victoria today. So thank you, Cardon. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Stay put. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. Tina McIntosh, Terry Stacey, Noah Taylor.
Hello.
And we are, today we're going to focus on, as we close, I guess we're almost to the end of the show here, but Fanconi anemia. And this is a rare genetic condition that affects the bone marrow and creates serious medical conditions for people. And I didn't know about this. And so, Noah, we're going to turn the mic over to you. This is something that is near and dear to you. And so thank you for shining a light on it.
My brother-in-law, his sister passed away a few weeks ago from Fanconi anemia, complicated by leukemia. And we will get into what Fanconi anemia is, but I would like to take a second to honor Chrissy for a moment here. She was diagnosed in April 2025 with Fanconi anemia, complicated by leukemia. Chrissy was a 10-year 4-H member, a supporter, and logo designer for the Cheetah Conservation Fund. She was a familiar face at the Guy's Coffee Shop, and she interned at Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida, and worked with Project Lead the Way while completing a master's degree through Miami University's Project Dragonfly. I mean, Chrissy was really a person for so much compassion and empathy for bugs and animals and all of the things that don't get our empathy. And I just want to share her story today in support of families living with FA and in honor of people who carry it with them. So Fanconi anemia, or FA, causes the bone marrow to produce fewer healthy blood cells over time. And when that happens, the body does struggle to fight infection. Fighting infection, manage bleeding, and staying stable through routine illnesses. Now, many children and adults with FA do need regular monitoring, transfusions, and in Chrissy's case, long hospital stays, and some eventually even do undergo bone marrow transplants.
She was diagnosed in April.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it took her life pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Noah.
Well, thank you. I really feel for my brother's family. I'm glad that we can bring a little bit of awareness of what FA is to some of our listeners of Caregiver Crossing. In her case, it did raise the risk of cancer, including, you're going to have to help me say this.
Yeah, it's acute myeloid leukemia. So this is, I don't want to take away from Chrissy and your family and sharing about FA, but when I see this, my heart kind of sinks a little bit. My grandmother died of acute myeloid leukemia. My husband is living with chronic myeloid leukemia. And so, unfortunately, I'm very familiar with AML and CML, but I had no idea of this connection. So please, if you can tell us more about what this Fanconi anemia is.
I mean, really, it's a lot of medical care. It's so much medical care, and families have to track their lab results. They have to respond to infections that come on quick. I mean, even for for many of our caregivers who don't experience FA, really know this part of it. They have to adjust school, adjust their work and social plans, based on how fragile their immune system becomes at that point. And what's scary is even minor illnesses can become very, very serious. Their caregivers stay alert and most of the time overwhelmed.
You know, I think about this time of the year, all the people I see with masks on. And, you know, there's always the debate. Does the mask work? Does it not work? But I think people are now thinking, again, we're stuck in this trauma from COVID, and we think about that, and we forget there are people out there living with things like this FA.
Yeah.
There are people out there living with things like my husband's chronic myeloid leukemia, or, you know, a myriad of other autoimmune disease, whatever it is. And we're so quick to judge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And not protect.
Yeah.
Because we're very egocentric in the way we're made, and we're very, unfortunately, judgmental as humans, I think, often. And it's a good reminder for two things for me, Noah. One, I never know what somebody else is going through. And two, I often don't even know that thing exists.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I had no idea it existed until something happened in my family. We did go to the service, and the visitation was beautiful. The one thing that stuck out to me was at Chrissy's service, she has these, I want to say just like collection of bugs and butterflies. And the funniest thing, when I went up to my brother and said, I love the collection of bugs. Like, that's so cool that she was able to collect all these bugs, put them in a display case. And the thing he told me was, yeah, we used to call her all the time and ask if, like, we saw this bug in the house. Should I kill it? Should I squish it? What is this thing? Like, do I need to get it away? And yeah, I do think, especially with a rare condition, people already feel isolated because of what they're going through. But then adding on that nobody really knows what this thing, nobody knows
Right.
in the public what this thing is. That has to feel so much more isolating for the person going through it and their caregivers.
You have to explain it if
Yeah.
you even want to. But
Right.
thank you for sharing all that, Noah.
Yeah.
And for showing us your heart. I'm, if I may,
Please.
you were talking about
Go
at
ahead.
the service. And, you know, here at Joy's house, we always talk about, we want to normalize the conversations about death and dying. So I love that Chrissy had the bugs there.
Yes.
You know,
that was so cool
how
to
cool
see.
is that? We just buried my grandmother-in-law, who lived with us for the last handful of years, and at the age of 97. And at the funeral, it was an open casket, and there are lots of little girls in our family, and they had so many questions about her body.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them all up at the casket, so I went up and said, "Girls, do you have any questions?" And they were like, "Where are her legs?" And I was like, "Well, they're in there. It's just
They're
only
hiding.
that part of the cat." Are her eyeballs behind her eyelids? Yes, they are. Why does her mouth look like that? Well, it's Is that her hair? I mean, will she live here now? I mean,
I think that's great that they're asking the questions and that they're getting
They're
the
curious,
answers.
right?
Yeah.
And they found somebody that would answer those questions for them.
It was so great. And, I'm a big, like, would you like to touch her body? Like, and I pulled them up toward the end and just said, ladies, I want to tell you that they're going to close grandma's casket and they will not reopen it. We will put it in the ground. It's just her body. And so if you would like to touch her or see her, now is the time. And so they all came up and, kind of
Put their
touched her.
hands
But
on her.
it was just sweet and innocent. And, talking, I love you taking a moment to share news about FA that I knew nothing about.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And to share about Chrissy, and for us having a space here in Caregiver Crossing where we can talk about all the things from life to death. And it's okay to have emotions with all of it too.
Absolutely. It starts with telling the next generation that it's okay
Yeah.
to touch the body, to ask questions, to be curious, and just to note that it's okay to remember the person, and checking in on somebody after a loss is probably the right thing to do.
All right. In
Thank you.
closing, I know we have to go.
Yep, we gotta go.
For in memory and honor of Chrissy, your favorite bug.
Oh my gosh, my favorite bug. I mean, I do love a praying mantis.
I'm a
They're
daddy
really-
long leg girl.
I do. I don't like spiders, but daddy long legs are pretty cool.
Yeah, well, most poisonous, but they can't hurt you.
I love them all, especially the stink bug.
Oh Lord, the stink bug. We're back.
We're
Hey, we
back
gotta
to
go,
stink
guys.
bugs.
We really gotta go.
We gotta
Okay.
go. As we close the show, we just like to remind our listeners that they can contact us for more info and resources to help you through the journey of caregiving at joycehouse.org. Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon and Associates. Thank you, Cardon. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 4 decades of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options. Until next time, take good care of each other.